What is up, everyone? This is the Red Dragon, and I am just coming out here today to show you guys a little bit of how I keep my Hondas running great after 20 years. This one is turboed, and I turboed it 15 years ago. She has 308 horsepower to the wheels at 7.25 psi from the turbo. I daily drive this. I've daily driven it for 15 years. I traveled 4,000 miles in between two different moves with this car, and she still runs like she's brand new. Now, how do I do this? There's a lot of little things, all right, that we need to do to keep a Honda running, and they're just simple, quick, easy, and cheap to keep a Honda running like it's brand new after 20 years, all right? So the first thing here is an alarm system. Get an alarm system, all right? I like auto page alarms. They've got GPS tracking, they've got auto start, they've got auto stop. You can track your vehicle if it's been stolen. You can see it going down the highway at whatever speed they're going down the highway, and you can turn the vehicle off, turn the motor off as they're driving. So the thief is gonna be stuck alongside the highway. I can make an alarm LED video, guys, if you would like to know how to wire up an LED in your car, either with or without an alarm system that blinks whenever you turn your car off, all right? So thieves out there, they're looking for these LED lights. And if your car is blinking, has an LED light, it's not worth the risk to break into your vehicle. Now, we all know that everybody likes to break into Hondas. So I can post a video if you guys would like to know how to wire up an LED light that blinks only when you turn the car off. All right, get an alarm system, guys, with a Honda. Second thing, top tier gasoline is different. Google top tier gasoline. It's made at a better quality with stringent standards that other gasoline producers are not held to. So this is the best gasoline, all right? Shell, Chevron 76, and Costco. If gasoline is the lifeblood of our vehicle and our blood, we want it to be clean so we can have a long vehicle for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Gasoline is important. We don't want to put in watered down gasoline or cheap gasoline when we're trying to keep our car running well and running for a long time. Gas matters, guys. Check out the top tier gasolines. Pick up a repair manual, all right? They're cheap. It's got everything that you need to repair your vehicle. Beyond that, Google what you're doing. If you are gonna do a transmission, if you're gonna replace the oil in the transmission, check out the manual, read the manual about how to do that, but also Google how to do a transmission oil change. And you'll come across like Honda.net and Integra.net, which are forums that have a ton of pictures and a ton of tutorials on how to do anything on a Honda, all right? So even if you need to change your spark plug wires, Google that, find a forum, and more than likely there'll be some pictures and a nice tutorial to show you step by step on how to do whatever you need to do on a Honda. All right, use your resources wisely out there. Google is a great one. What do we have here next? Lights. This is the lights. This is an LED light that I picked up for my CRV. Now, my Integra here has, the cool blue lights. I forget what they're called right now, but they're not LED. But this brand of LED is a lot brighter. I bought this one off Amazon. I bought two of them, one for my regular lights and one for my high beams. These are extremely bright. I picked up 3 different pairs of the brightest LED lights that were available for purchase on Amazon. I compared all 3 of them, and this one is the brightest. It also puts out the most watts. So these are extremely bright. Where I live, people don't know how to merge. They don't know how to drive. These are at least 3 or 4 times brighter than my stock headlights were. They're insanely bright. Now, when I'm out there, I'm concerned about safety when I'm driving. I need to see. Now, I don't really care that much if they're too bright for somebody else because they're shitty drivers. And I want to be able to see. So, these are extremely bright. These are awesome. All right. NGK is what you want to do if you want to buy some spark plug wires or the spark plugs, okay? Now these NGKs, I just did a little research because I forgot what they were. I do believe for my 2006 CRV, the NGK V-Power nickel spark plugs, nickel copper spark plugs, they're usually about $1.99, maybe up to $3 each. And the BKR7E is what I put in my 2006 CRV camper conversion, which is outside. And I would encourage you guys to go check out my videos on what I've done to my CRV and CRV camper. So I like the NGK 4644 BKR7E V-Power because they're cheap. We don't necessarily need iridium, guys. Iridium ones can be very expensive. I don't know, $20 per plug. If these are $1.99 per plug and we only need 4, that's fine. And in fact, these same NGK 4644 BKR7E plugs are a colder plug than the stock Integra plug, which was the BKR6E 11 stock plug. So the BKR7E is actually a colder plug than the BKR6E. And I actually use the BKR7E in the Red Dragon. It's a colder plug. They're $1.99. They're made of copper. It's the V-Power. And it's the best type of plug for my turboed system. I don't need iridium ones. Iridium ones might last a little bit longer, but they're so much more expensive. We're not actually getting a performance gain. If anything, these would be the best performance. They just don't last as long as the iridiums. So if I need to replace these every 10 or 20,000 miles at $1.99 each for amazing plugs, I'm down. So that's what I do. I don't get iridium. I know some turboed Honda guys get iridium, but they're so expensive. Most turboed Honda guys use the BKR7E plug, the V-Power. All right. So that is NGK and spark plugs. NGK and or Denso is going to be the best option for your Honda. On my 2006 CRV, I put rotors. Front rotors. I replaced the front left and the front right rotors. And what I purchased was Centric Plane 120 series cryo-treated rotors. Okay, those are awesome rotors. And if you guys have been following along my camper build, I'm turning my CRV into a camper. Then that extra weight that I'm going out camping with my CRV, I can actually really use the Centric Plane 120 series cryo-treated rotors. They have good stopping power. They have excellent stopping power. And they're not going to warp. They're just awesome. Cool. Next thing is brake pads. EBC. EBC is what's up. They've got a whole line. They've got green stuff, red stuff, yellow stuff, and, well, they say green stuff again. Research which one you want. Some are a little bit more bitey. Some break a little bit quicker. Some are for a race application. Some of these brake pads are for hauling things. If you have a truck, they sell some specifically for big trucks, hauling big weight. And EBC is what I use on all of my Hondas because they make awesome brakes. All right, that is brakes. One of the first things that I did on my Honda CRV was take the filter out, the air filter, and buy a K&N air filter. It was cheap enough. One of the first things that we can do to help performance of a car is open up the breathability of the car. And what we're talking about there is either the intake and or exhaust. Now, I don't want to redo the exhaust on my 2006 CRV, but I did want to do the intake. So I got a K&N intake, and this is the old one that came out of the car. When you get a K&N intake, you're going to want to pick up the oil and the cleaning spray. So every couple of months, you can clean out your K&N air filter and reuse it. All right, when you're going to do an oil change, I've done a lot of research on oil filters, and they are not made the same. This is the only one that I buy now, the only one out of all the companies out there. And I buy this company, Royal Purple, for both the Red Dragon and my 2006 CRV, which is parked outside. I only buy Royal Purple because they have a synthetic medium instead of paper, which is really rare nowadays. This might be the only company still doing that. And they've got a pressure relief valve spring, and they've also got a wire mesh in there. So between those three things, we can't find those three things in a different oil filter. So this is the most quality oil filter that you can find for either an Acura Integra or a 2006 Honda CRV. All right. Now, one of the first things that I did to my CRV was a transmission fluid change. If you can imagine, most people don't know how to change their transmission fluid. But you could also imagine that the transmission fluid is one of the most important systems of a car, right? So if the gasoline is like the lifeblood, and the oil is a lubricating system, both of those are very important. And then beyond that, the transmission is extremely important. We just forget about it all the time. We could imagine in a car's lifetime, after 15 or 20 years, perhaps the transmission fluid has never, ever been changed, okay? So it's really easy to do. Again, consult your manual, and I have always said, if I've got 2 arms and 2 legs, we can do anything, and the right tools. So if you have 1 arm and 1 leg, or less, we can still do anything we need to on a Honda. So when you're going out to replace the oil in your transmission, do it. Do it now. Pick up some of this stuff to do it. It's only 1 or 2 bolts. You take the oil out, you let it drain out, you replace a filter, and then you refill the transmission. It's not a big deal, guys, and nobody ever does this to their cars. But if you want your car to last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 70 years, 80, 100 years, do a transmission change, all right? Just do it. So along with the oil transmission change, I do like Lucas. I like all Lucas products. This is just the engine oil stabilizer. This one is for the transmission. It's just a transmission additive to stop leak. I love Lucas products and how thick and viscous they are. And they make badass stuff. So even though my transmission doesn't slip, I still add a little bit of this in there, all right? And I add this into every single oil change that I do in every single car that I have. When you're doing the transmission oil change, I don't remember if I used this for the Integra or the 2006 CRV, so do some research. You'll want to pick up some Honda fluid. I think this one is for the Red Dragon. This one might not be for the CRV. The point of this is I would really encourage you to go after the genuine Honda fluid, no matter what you're doing. Genuine Honda fluid is pretty cheap, and it is the best. There's just not a lot to say about that. They've specifically designed the genuine Honda for the tolerances in Honda transmissions. So don't guess it. Just go ahead and buy the Honda. I picked 4 of these up on Amazon. 2-day shipping, and it was only really a couple of bucks. It wasn't too expensive. So you want to research what type of fluid you need for your transmission. Now, the 2006 CRV has a inline filter for the transmission. And after a lot of research, this is the brand of filter that I came across. Now, these are really cool because on the inside, it has magnetic areas that actually pick up little shavings that are mixing in with your transmission oil when some of the clutch shaves off into the transmission oil. So this thing is awesome. It collects the little shavings that accumulate in your oil, the metal shavings, and it traps them in here so those shavings can't do any more damage to your transmission. This is really cool. It was really easy to replace, and from the research that I've done on these things are amazing. I do believe when I did my transmission oil changes on both of my Hondas, I think I needed a pump to go ahead and refill the oil. Those are cheap, easy to use. What I also like to do when I first get a Honda, or just to maintain my Hondas, is to redo the headlights. This is a 2-step McGuire's headlight restoration kit. And I've used that on my CRV, and I've used that on the Red Dragon a couple of times. And it shines up the headlights as if they were brand new. Don't worry about buying a brand new headlight for $200. Just go ahead and redo your headlight for however much this is, maybe $15. All right, now we are on to a battery charger. If your battery's dead, this thing can jump a car battery probably hundreds of times. This thing is crazy. It lasts for months on one charge if you're constantly charging a vehicle or several vehicles. I like to keep this in the car just in case there's a battery issue, so I can jump my car. It's light, quick, easy, rechargeable. And the last thing here, guys, is a little bit about comfort. This is so easy to do, to replace your air conditioning fluid. Now, this is the type of fluid that I picked up, and I bought this one specifically because it came with this. And this is really cool because it's got a dial on there, so you know how to fill up in your car. You just put that on there, and you Google how to refill your air conditioning fluid, and it'll tell you to hook up this side to the big end of your air conditioning fluid under your hood. And this kit in particular is cool because it came with 2 cans, but this thing is awesome. We don't need to buy one of these. They sell these separate, and they can be expensive. But it just comes with this kit, which is dope. So it's really, 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 really easy to fill up your AC. If your AC is kind of lacking in the summertime, if it's too hot in your car, and your AC doesn't seem to be able to catch up, just go ahead and refill some of the AC fluid. You just hook it up, you pull the nozzle, and it starts to fill in the AC fluid into your port by your motor under the hood. And if you accidentally fill up too much, guys, this thing is awesome too, right? Because as this is still hooked up, we can release some of the pressure too by disconnecting the can right there. And when you do that, you'll get the So if you accidentally refill too much fluid, which is entirely possible. In fact, I filled up too much fluid in my car, and I heard a clank. Every time I turned on the AC, I would hear a little clank, and every time I heard the AC compressor turn over, maybe every couple of minutes, I would hear a clank. So what I needed to do was take out some of the pressure. And by taking out the pressure, I got rid of the clank. And how I got rid of the pressure was I just left that end hooked up to the car and this end open. And when you open this, the pressure from inside the car comes out of there. So you can depressurize your system also. If I would have let my AC compressor keep clanking, it would have failed prematurely. So now that I have been able to take out some of the pressure from the AC system, the AC compressor does not clank anymore, and it'll be good to go for another 10, 20 years. Guys, I hope you found this video informative. This is just some of the first things that you're going to want to do when you start off maintaining your Honda, or if you just bought a Honda. Oh, I hope you guys found this a little bit educational here. I will go ahead and post some videos, some follow-up videos like that LED light security system, so you guys can do that if you want to. Y'all know who it is. Just out here having fun in the garage, just trying to help people get their cars to last longer.